All right, wonderful. All right, so Adrian, what part of this is being filmed? Just the presentation kind of stuff, or? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's what I wanted. Yeah, nobody needs to see my mug. All right. Speaking of mugs, my wife gave me some advice before this talk. She said, if you're going to drink beer, put it in a red cup so nobody will know it's beer. Thank you for laughing. Thanks. All right. Do what you want to, man. Whatever floats your boat. So this talk is called Go with the Flow, and here pretty soon you'll know what it's about. But my understanding is that the rules of these talks are, before we actually start our talk, we're supposed to talk about somebody who gave us inspiration in security, right? Is that right, Trevor? SkyDog? Yeah. So like I redid my whole slide deck based on your request that I talk about someone who inspired me in information security, and you don't want to hear that. All right. Okay. Well, I've been inspired. Yeah. I've been inspired by a lot of people in the information security world, and so there's really no way to just kind of like hone it down to one person. So I honed it down to the biggest one. So thank you. Good. I'm glad you appreciate that. If no one knows Carric Dooley, shame on you. You should Google him like tonight. Carric is a great guy. He is currently the director of Foundstone Services over in Europe. Damn his time. But he's also been a DEF CON goon since, I want to say 2002, 2003, somewhere around in there. And he is the original Hugmeister. He was hugging before hugging was cool. So, but on a personal level, Carric was kind of my sponsor at Foundstone. It took me a year to get a job at Foundstone, right? I wanted the job that bad. And I ran into Carric. He's a friend of a friend, and we talked a little bit, and he basically just kind of told him, you need to hire this guy, and just kept saying it until finally they did. He also introduced me to this community. About 3 years ago, well actually I guess 4 years ago, he told me that I needed to join my local DEF CON chapter, DC 404 in Atlanta. That's where I met Taylor Banks, that's where I met Beth Banks, that's where I met SkyDog, that's where I met Adrian, that's where I've met all these people and gotten to know the real community, the real security community. Okay, the people who actually kind of do things and everything and are, you know, I like to say that the people in this industry stand on the shoulders of giants who are also standing on the shoulders of the guys that like live in their parents' basement and doing the real work of security, right? Thanks for laughing again. You're my favorite audience person. Okay, and then the last thing about Carric is we were teaching a class one time and I told him that I wanted to start speaking. I wanted to do speaking engagements. I want to get my name out there. I want to, you know, because I like public speaking. I'm one of those weird people who likes to get up in front of people and speak. And he said, find what you love and speak about it. So that's what I did. And let's see what kind of audio we get.
How can I help you?
Hi, Michael. I'm having...
Good. I'm going to see if we can turn the audio up a little bit because it's that important. All right, let's see if you guys can hear this. Obviously you can hear that. Yeah, heard that. Okay, it's all right. I think it's stable now. Maybe. That's right.
Good morning, ITS. Michael speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, Michael. I'm having some trouble getting into the iJobs website.
Can y'all hear that?
And I was wondering if you could help me out. I've been working with over here, and it seems like I can't seem to get logged in.
What website?
It's .com.
.com?
Right. Yeah. Right.
All right, then it asks for the ID password.
Yeah, exactly. And every time I type it in, I get an error. I was wondering, I mean, are you able to log into it, or?
Let me see.
Okay.
Is this something that is specific to students?
No, I think it's open to everybody. It's like a summer job thing.
Nope, I didn't get in. I've never heard of this before, actually.
All right. Yeah, I've already heard some laughs. So, anybody here work at a help desk before? Yeah, okay, plenty. You ever gotten a call similar to this, maybe? Yeah, really? Cool. Yeah. What just happened, right? Yeah, basically I just called a help desk and, got a domain that was kind of similar to the client's and told the help desk person, hey, I can't log in. They logged in for me, and I used the social engineering toolkit, easy peasy, okay, to capture their credentials, right? This is like the easiest, if you just got 5 minutes and you need a set of credentials from the help desk, this is kind of the easy way to do it, right? Now, if this talk were about that, we'd be done. Because there's pretty much, that's all there really is to it, all right? But I want to talk to you a little bit about a different type of call, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But first, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Chris Silvers. I work for Foundstone. I do social engineering. I do internal, external pen testing, all that stuff. I normally don't lead with, hi, I'm a social engineer, because, man, you're just like, I'm going to hire you, dude. I usually don't lead with that because the next thing the person expects out of my mouth is a lie, right? And I have to confess, I'm actually a really bad liar. Ask my wife. She catches me in lies all the time. I consider social engineering more acting than lying, but enough about that. So, in addition to my day job, I like fishing and speaking and mentoring, by the way. So, you guys, everybody out here looks pretty much of age, so you should be mentoring someone in the security space. Let's see, I've been in this business a long time, 14 or so years, kind of cut my teeth at the Federal Reserve. Probably my biggest claim to fame so far, at least, is I've participated in the DEF CON Social Engineering Capture the Flag contest for the past 2 years, both with top 4 finishes, I guess you would say. Probably more interesting is that my daughter participated this past year. She's 17, and she did really well and actually got the opportunity to meet General Keith Alexander after her competition and everything. So, cool stuff. All right, enough of that. But when it really comes down to it, all that techno whiz-bang stuff means very little, because I'm really just an old country boy from Kennesaw, Georgia. Now, is there anybody here who is either from or knows about Kennesaw, Georgia? Yeah, Scott? Yeah, okay. We got some. Yeah, there we go. Have you seen my slides? Yeah, that's what Kennesaw is known for, is the Kennesaw gun law, right? Back I did a little research. I didn't realize this. That was 1982, all right? I was like 16, so do the math, right? I'm an old guy. There was a guy named Dent Myers. His nickname is Wildman, and he's the one who sponsored that bill in Kennesaw, right? And his Civil War surplus and herb shop, right? It still exists in downtown Kennesaw, right there at the, right across the street from the train depot, right? The Little General. Yeah, there we go. All right. So as my wife will remind me, get on with it. Quit rambling, Chris. So, okay, I will. So what you can expect for the next 45 minutes or so is a little background on how I came up with this presentation, and then kind of what that experience culminated into, which essentially comes down to the dissection of a social engineering call. And this is a specific type of social engineering call, and I'll explain why I honed in on that type. And then I'll give you an example of one of these type calls that goes right, okay, for the tester. And then I'll give you a few examples of different phases of the call where the call went horribly wrong and went terribly wrong, which those are opportunities to learn things, right? And then we'll go through a little quiz time to see who's managed to stay awake through this whole process. And then maybe a few little bloopers, depending on time. All right, so as I said, I competed in the Social Engineering CTF last year at DEF CON 19. And afterwards, I was talking to Chris Hadnaggy, the organizer, and he was talking about recording social engineering calls. And I said, well, isn't that illegal? I mean, some states, you have to have two-party consent. I know in Georgia, you have to have at least one-party consent. You know, so sometimes you don't know where your target is or where you're bouncing this call off of, and it could get messy. But he explained something to me. He said, well, actually, it's really the owner of the telephone line whose consent you need, not the actual person you're talking to. So I figure, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but he does it, and he's got the EFF lawyers on his side, so I'm like, hey, who am I to argue? So from that point on, I started recording phone calls, and that was the summer of 2011. So over the course of the last year, essentially, I've been recording every single call, because every client I go and ask them, can I get permission to record these social engineering calls? They say, absolutely, sure you can, as long as you'll give us a copy when you're done. So we can use it to educate our employees. I was like, well, gee, that was kind of an easy sell. Awesome, I should have been doing this forever, right? In fact, I probably could have come up with some really good calls had I been recording. But what I noticed was, so after this year of recording calls, I had over 100 phone calls recorded, and I would start using them to listen to myself doing these calls and then try to improve my techniques. And then, of course, I started, you know, as we would train other consultants to do social engineering, I would have them listen to these calls and notice that they were able to get better at doing social engineering. Well, I also, after much analysis, I actually started seeing some patterns emerge in good calls and bad calls, to where if I listened closely enough to the call, I could tell like 5 minutes in whether it was going to be a good call or not, even before the end of the call, whether the user was going to get suspicious or they weren't or whatever. There were kind of these, I guess they call them tells, right? When somebody, their body language or the way they talk, it just tells you something about them, the mood they're in. So that's what brought about this whole talk was, wow, you know, I should share that with people, right? Because obviously you could flip it around and look at the reverse and look at some of the techniques that people use defensively to keep themselves from being socially engineered, right? Which, you know, what fun is that? All right. So for this particular call, the consultant calls and he pretends to be a help desk person, right? And he's calling the typical user community, right, for statistical analysis. There's plenty of them versus help desk people. He calls them and he talks about an upgrade to their environment, some type of change in the environment, and then something is wrong. Through walking through the call, they identify that something is actually wrong, and then they want to troubleshoot it, right? That's the key. So then through that troubleshooting process, they're gathering information from the user. The poor user is just trying to avoid the apocalypse that the poor caller is talking about. But then in the process, they get them to a point, whether it's through impatience, like many of you are feeling right now, or if it's just convenience, that they move the call to, hey, I need to remotely access your machine, right? But the trick here, and the really clever thing, and I wish I could claim credit for this, but another consultant came up with this whole concept of, instead of asking for their password, just tell them to change their password to a value that you give them. Well, I didn't ask them for their password, right? Oh no, that would be against the policy to give someone your password. But is it okay if we just set you a temporary password, right? That's the concept. That's kind of the trick. And the really cool thing is, even if you don't get the password, if you get down to the end and they're just not comfortable with the situation, you've already gained a lot of information that you can use on the next call to make that call go better, right? So it's not just an all or nothing like the first call we heard. I mean, when I tell the guy to go to the website, he either does or doesn't, right? This way, you can kind of cut your losses if you need to. All right, so let's hear it. So visually speaking, and just to make this an analytical talk, here's the flow chart. Hence the name, go with the flow, right? As you can see, if anything goes wrong, if I don't get a good response on any of the phases of this call, I just do an exit, right? And of course the exit's going to be a little different. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong number, or oh, that must be the application that is working for you, or, whatever excuse I come up with. But I essentially broke these calls down into these phases of the greeting, the building trust phase, where I'm talking about an application that only they know about, right? So I must be an employee. The actual troubleshooting, where I identify an actual problem, and then of course going for the goal. And judging that, are they ready for me to ask them to change their password? All right. So I know I've built up enough suspense, so let's hear it.
Hi, is Peter in?
He is actually on vacation at the moment. Can I ask who's calling?
Okay, this is Chris with the Helpdesk.
Okay. This is Olivia.
Olivia? Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, how are you this morning?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I think
You
there's
hear the
a little
typing?
nuts up here at the Helpdesk, but I was wondering, the reason for my call, Olivia, are you aware of the accounting system upgrade?
I am aware of the accounting system upgrade.
Okay, good. So I was calling to make sure that everything happened over the last few weeks about the upgrade. And we pushed an update last night, and I wanted to make sure that everything was working okay.
You mean in terms of the new booking slip?
Excuse me?
You mean in terms of the new booking slip?
Yes.
The only problem that I've run into is that after I submit them, submit them, my copy hasn't been popping up to print out.
So that was
my
kind of a
records.
gift. She actually had a problem, right?
Let me get that.
The booking slips. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
And which interface are you using for that? Is that the web-based interface or the?
Yeah, that would be the Internet Explorer.
Y'all can hear that in the back, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to skip ahead here in a
So
second.
I know that I called and had somebody help me one time to retrieve it, just because I like to print a copy for my own records. But what had happened was I submitted it, and I think the pop-up blocker blocked it from popping up to allow me to print it.
That
Yeah,
pop-up
that's what I
blocker,
was
that's what it
thinking was
is.
probably.
Is that what's been happening with a bunch of people? I think that's what.
Just wait toward the end of the call.
I
This
tell
poor
you
girl.
what, we can take a look at that. Do you know what version of Internet Explorer you're using?
Let me see. I think it's just the same that everybody else is using. Sorry, I don't know exactly what version it would be.
This is key right
I'm
here.
not super computer savvy.
That's quite all right. Olivia. That's what we're here for, right?
Awesome.
That's what we're here for, ma'am. I almost put
Yeah.
ma'am in it, and I was too
Explorer up
tempted.
Right now?
I was
do.
afraid she'd recognize it from the
If you
commercials.
look in the here, let me.
Right. I don't know if y'all heard typing in the background. That's me just randomly hitting keys, right, to make it sound like an office, right? Yeah. I'm like sitting in my pajamas at home,
So
right,
just
in my
under that, you
office.
should see something that says DNS servers.
Although sometimes the cats will jump up on me. Yeah.
And how many numbers are there? Is there just one?
No, it says 10.1.1.11.
Yeah, I think this
And then
is
there's another one
like
right below
either her
that says
gateway IP
10,
address or
period,
DNS
1,
or something.
32.
Right, yeah. I've skipped ahead in the call
Do you see
because,
what it says
like I said,
on the
it's
left?
like a 20-minute call.
Period 2, period 2, period 1?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Could that be the problem?
Yeah, that may be part of the problem. Yeah, let's try one. I really appreciate your help, Olivia.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever it
This
is, it
so
could be the
complicated
problem.
when all I thought it would require is like a no more pop-up blocker. But if you think that this is helping, then okay.
Certainly. So,
Okay.
let me give you the run this command. It's basically it's two words jammed together. It's system info. A couple of things, and I'm sorry to take up all your time, Olivia, and I appreciate.
So a couple apologies along the way
one thing
for taking up your time.
Is look at this. We have this support portal.
Mm-hmm.
So just for system management, and it's kind of in a pilot phase. So what I can do is just log into your computer remotely and pull all the rest of the information and then troubleshoot. So,
okay. Sure, whatever you need to do. My only thing was that I just didn't want I didn't want the pop-up blocker to run anymore, but whatever you think you need to do, yeah.
Okay, so let me log into the portal real quick.
Okay.
Let's see, your host name.
Yeah. And usually I do this with my phone on speaker so they can hear the clicks of the keyboard there.
Olivia's having some trouble logging in there. It's when was the last time you happened to change your password?
Pretty recently.
Yeah. Because with this new system, if your password expires, which it doesn't really tell you.
Okay.
If your password expires, you end up having to change it before you can actually log into it. So I tell you what, do you know how to change your password?
I do. Can I just give you my password?
Sure.
Are you doing Friday?
Right here.
Yeah.
E-R-O.
All right, I think that's it. I didn't give you her password, but yeah, you picked up on that. That's why I had this picture here from what was that? That's Pillow Talk, the movie with yes, absolutely.
Back up one slide. I'm looking at that thing.
You're talking about the flow chart? Yeah.
I was saying when you look at that, that's your pickup line at the bar, right? Greetings, how are you? Okay, mind if I sit down next to you? Sure. Hey, your drink's empty. You're going to buy one? Fine. And you go to the goal.
Isn't that cool? How it's so similar to picking up a chick at a bar? Yeah, I like it. Yes.
My wife told me that is
Yeah. Well, yeah. It seems we've had so much practice, we should be good at that, right? At least we know how to do it wrong, right? Yeah. I have years of experience doing that wrong, for sure. So a few things about the call here. The first part was the sympathy. Did y'all pick up on that? Things are a little crazy here at the help desk, right? Just to elicit a little sympathy. She kind of gave me an in because, not only did she kind of gave a chuckle and said, hi Chris, how are you? Right? So she sort of gave me that, right? So I took it. So I took the opportunity to say, yeah, things are a little crazy here, right? She was very open about the application and the booking slips and some internal terminology, right? I knew that they had done some changes to their accounting application, but I wasn't sure what exactly, but she kind of gave me that a little bit. And as it turned out, she wasn't getting her pop-ups to be able to print out her booking slip tickets. I have no idea what a booking slip is for these people, but whatever it is. And of course, I'm trying to be nice and not make her feel bad for being less technical, right? Because the worst thing I can do is make her feel bad and then all of a sudden create a little animosity. She's not going to do what I want her to do, right? And of course, I don't know if y'all picked up on some of the DNS stuff. If you happen to hear in the call, I told her that one of the DNS IP addresses was supposed to be 11.2.2.1 or something like that, right? Do y'all recognize the 11 Class A network? Yeah, that's DOD space. Nobody's going to have it, right? So that's why I use that space, because then I don't have to worry about them saying, oh, actually, it does say that. And
you are.
That's
You
right.
are coming with guns.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, that's another story. But then of course, always being appreciative, always, planting that seed in there as well about I don't want to take up your time, right? So that when we get to the point of going for the gold, she's already a little bit motivated about, God, this call's taking forever, right? Even if she's just the nicest person in the world, has nothing better to do, surely sooner or later, with my southern drawl and my stumbling over stuff, she's going to get impatient. I mean, who wouldn't, right? So giving her a little pause, an opportunity to say, how about if I just give you my password, right? Well, if somebody offers, I mean, whatever, right? For sure, for sure. All right, well, let's see what happens when things go a little wrong.
This is Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. This is Vernon with the IT Helpdesk. How are you this morning?
I'm okay. How are you?
Okay, good. Good. Amanda, the reason for my call is, are you aware of the upgrade that we're doing to Outlook?
No.
No? We just recently pushed out an upgrade to Outlook, and some of the users are having some issues with it, like Outlook crashing. Have you had any issues this morning, or?
I'm sorry. This is Vernon?
Yes, Vernon.
Okay.
Has
Doesn't
your
sound like
system been? I'm sorry.
Doesn't sound like Vernon.
Did y'all catch that? Doesn't sound like Vernon. Okay, I think I got my point across.
So,
Yeah. Turns out she knew Vernon. I don't know. Maybe Vernon's from New York. Maybe he's got this high-pitched voice. I don't know, but obviously I didn't sound like Vernon. So this has been kind of a back and forth through actually years of social engineering on the phone as to whether I actually spoof a real person or I don't. Now, you heard in that first call, actually the very first call, I was pretending to be an actual person that worked at that company. But the call that worked really well, I just used my real name. She didn't look me up, nothing. No big deal. This call, I used a real person's name, and it backfired on me, okay? And I've had that situation happen a few times, right? And it ticks me off because basically it means I didn't do enough reconnaissance work. I just didn't quite learn about it. So it's always been a question, to spoof or not to spoof. Now, like I said, in this instance, it backfired. In another instance I had was I was calling the help desk, and I was trying to pretend to be a professor at this university, and this university was not in the South. So I needed to find a professor of the university who was from the South. Well, it was kind of difficult, and the only one I could come up with it was a silly sounding name, but it was pretty close to Professor Cornblossom, right? So I call, and I get the help desk. Hello, this is Professor Cornblossom. I'm having trouble getting to this website. And the phone's silent. And the guy says, really? So I paused and I said, look it up. I hear it, tack, 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 tack. Oh, I'm so sorry, Professor Cornblossom. What can I do for you? Yes! Thank you! Woo! Finally, it worked. Yeah, this guy gave me everything, man. I mean, I started pushing the envelope, too. I was like, so what's the IP address of that server, and how do I get into this server? And, oh, yeah, I had this guy over a barrel. So sometimes it backfires, and then sometimes you can kind of work it to your advantage, right, to spoof a real person. So I haven't tried it since Professor Cornblossom, but I hope to sometime, because it's fun. It's fun getting the other guy on the ropes, right? Where he's, oh my goodness, oops, sorry, sir, right? All right, but let's hear another one.
Okay, can you tell me your name again? My name? Yeah, wait. That's, F. Okay, who do you work for? For IT. Alright, and who's your boss? I'm sorry, say that again. Who's your boss?
Yeah, obviously I'm stalling.
My boss is Gary. Okay, who's his boss?
Dude.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get to a name that I recognize. Oh, well, I work up here in St. Paul. Uh-huh. You're familiar with I worked up there in St. Paul for 6 months as well, so I know some folks up there.
So all this time, I'm flipping through papers
Gary,
trying to find the org chart that they gave me.
I don't know Gary. Okay, I'm trying to think of who Gary reports to. How about David? Is that his last name? I know Dave. Okay, there you go. Who's the head of IT up there? Well, Dave's the manager. I'm not sure who is like you talking about the director or something? Sure. I just want to make sure this isn't some sort of a phishing attempt or anything like that.
Yeah, I thought y'all get a kick out. Well, of course it's not, right? Yeah. So I don't want to go further on with that, but yeah, he was a keynote at Focus this past week, so yeah, that's the dig there. Thanks for laughing though, appreciate it. It took me a long time to get that logo down small enough. Anyway. Yeah, we're Dave. Oh, okay. Anyway, so yeah. So you can kind of hear those last two calls. You can hear the tension on those calls, can't you? Right? So I want to make the point that, social engineering, we all think it's all fun and games and easy and all that stuff. And by and large, yes, statistically, it works and most companies fail. But there's pressure involved. There's stress involved, right? I was backpedaling through that call with that guy, and obviously, maybe I should have just hung up. I don't know. I was looking for an eloquent exit so that to keep from him hanging up with me and getting on the phone with the help desk and say, hey, we got phishing calls, right? We need to send out a broadcast email, and then my test is over, right? So that's the importance of that, having that exit, right?
Test goes the next thing. Did you get her alert about the phishing emails?
Actually, I have done that. But it was like an act of desperation, right? It was, hey, it was, are you aware of the testing that's going on? I just left it general like that. And if they said yes, then I would go into the exit and say, okay, good. We wanted to make sure that everybody knew about the testing and, thanks, I'm glad you're aware. Click. But if they said no, then I would say, oh, well, the testing is we're doing this password survey and, you've been randomly selected. So, yeah, do you mind doing, blah, blah, blah. Take them to a website or something, whatever kind of deal. But I guess the real point there of, as far as building trust, the better recon you do, the more trust you're going to get, right? You have to kind of anticipate questions. Now, I don't get a whole lot of who's your boss questions, but, it's kind of like going camping with a rope, right? If you take a rope, you'll never need it. If you don't take it, you'll wish you had it, right? Exactly. All right, let's go. One more here.
This is Stephanie. How can I help you?
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hey, Stephanie, are you aware of the Success Factors upgrade that we've been pushing out? This is Brad from IT in the Inglewood office. Some of our users are reporting problems, and I was just wondering if you were having any.
For which system?
For Success Factors. Are you a Success Factors user?
You know what? I don't think we are.
Okay.
Maybe let me transfer you over to sales. I do believe they use that system. Would you like me to transfer you over?
Sure. Yeah. Great. That'd
Okay,
be awesome.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
All right. So in the middle of being transferred, you hang up, all right? Because you don't know who you're going to get. You don't know what kind of day they're having. You don't know who they could be the security person. They could be the help desk. They could be your point of contact that you get transferred to. That would kind of ruin your call, right? So, knowing the environment is key to social engineering. Now, it turns out that this girl did have access to SuccessFactors. They use it throughout the company. She just didn't realize it, right? But I included this call to kind of highlight the point of there's a balance between general and specific when you're identifying the problem or trying to build that trust with your victim, right? And, knowing that, however specific you can get is great, but only to the point where it causes a problem, right? Up to that point, when you're getting too specific and the person doesn't actually use that app, well, you're kind of hosed, right? And also, I wanted to highlight, that's one of the things that I consult and advise people about social engineering. If you're ever suspicious about a call, transfer it to the person in the cubicle next to you. Just that simple transfer will probably flush out the social engineer because they'll be off their game. They don't know, oh, well, now all of a sudden I'm talking to a man and I have no clue who this person is. Because usually when I do reconnaissance, I know who I'm talking to. I know where they sit. I know, that they like fuzzy bunnies versus puppies. I know their favorite color. I mean, when we do reconnaissance, we typically focus on the target and we don't try to do the whole broad thing. So if you get transferred, you're kind of hosed. All right? All right. And the last one.
I'll tell you what, you have a few minutes. Let's check your service pack level. So,
I'm actually about to go into a meeting here at 9 o'clock. Is there a way we can do this a different time?
I thought this was a
actually,
gift.
I can try to.
She's in a hurry.
Going through our new remote portal. Let me see here. What do you know? Do you happen to know your workstation name, Christy?
No, I don't.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it with your login ID. Yeah, I'm getting access denied. When was the last time you changed your password? Has it been a little while?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's probably the problem. I tell you what, real quick, let me walk you through change your password real quick, and then I can get in remotely and you can get to your meeting. So if you just do a...
Well, what do we need? I'm a little leery of all this at this point. Is there a way that if you're here on site, you can come to my office and we can work through it?
Yeah, I can probably come by later today.
Okay.
Are you available maybe later this afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'll come by later this afternoon then.
Okay, sounds good.
All righty.
Right. It was nice of her to give me an exit like that, right? Yeah. Just come on by. Okay, I'll come by. See ya. Right? I'm not going to argue with that. As you can tell, there was an opportunity there. She was in a hurry. I thought, okay. So this whole impatience thing, it'll just work in 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes. Yeah. The women in the audience, they know. A man gets impatient, he's lost it, hasn't he? Yeah. You can't get impatient, guys. You gotta take your time, right? You gotta get her warmed up. You can't just jump in, right? See the similarities here? It's amazing. It's simply amazing. Yeah, so there were some hints there. Y'all picked up on the yep, right? That almost, it's really kind of strange. Anytime, just conversationally, anytime someone gives you a one-word answer to a question that ends with a hard constant, and they don't just say yep, or they go yep, it's amazing how negative that is, right? It's like a brick wall that they're just throwing, right? And I guess if we could just really get good at that, if I could get good at sensing those things, then I'd just back off and just, okay, move on to the next caller, right? And so, and actually taking, what I've gotten so far, because I had a little bit of information from her already, right? I mean, I got the service pack or whatever, just move on to the next call, right? So from a defensive standpoint, I guess, answering the question that was asked and only the question that was asked will trip up a social engineer, right? Not expanding on the question, because that's what they really want. They want to just say, do you know what time it is? And for you to say, sure, it's 3:10, right? Instead of, yeah, I know what time it is. What's it to you, right? All right. All right, so a little quiz time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little clip of a phone call, and I wanted to do this by applause, but it just doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is by thumbs up, is we're going to determine whether the social engineer got the gold or thumbs down, he didn't get the gold, right? He was not successful. All right, are y'all ready to play? Are y'all going to play with me today? Okay, all right, everybody's awake. I know you're hungry. I'm getting hungry as well, all this beer. All right, so let's hear it. Did the caller get leaked or did he get beat?
Okay. You then click on it, run, and then that brings up a little window that has like this little white area in there. In the white area, type in these 3 letters, CMD, like Charlie, Mary, David.
This really takes so much.
Charlie, Mary, and what?
David, like CMD.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then click on OK.
Okay, feel free. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
And
A lot of
Why
thumbs
don't you
up.
guys? Why would you normally get access to my computer to do this? Do I do this?
Well, actually, I can, Carolyn. Well, actually, let me see if I can do that with the remote portal real quick.
She asked.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let me.
You're still saying down.
Just a second here. Yeah.
You think so? Too soon? Too soon? Yeah, I'm getting a lot of thumbs down. Yeah, you're right.
It may be because your password is stale. I tell you what, if you
Let's
don't
listen
mind,
to the
go ahead and change your
uncomfortable
password.
conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let me try the SMS server real quick.
Okay.
One
So then I
second.
got into my
Can I
exit and
give
said,
you a call
okay,
back,
I can
Joe?
do it myself. Right. All right. Let's try another one.
What's your last name?
Bennett. I'm in IT down here in Jacksonville.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure who I was talking to. Thank you. I had to look you up. Aware of this service portal?
Yeah, it's the.
So she looked me up in the directory and she found me.
ADP.com.
Uh-huh. Because I wasn't somewhere. I've used it.
Okay.
Why?
Have you used it recently?
I don't think so.
All right, what do y'all think? Up, down, up, up? We're getting some ups? Yeah? You are just playing statistics. Nah.
Sorry, Brian. I have to sign in and get out of what I'm doing. Can I call you right back?
No, that's okay. Like I said, we've got a whole list of people to call.
Another great technique, can I call you
I
back?
can call somebody.
Right?
Oh, okay. Thank
Not
you.
what's your number, can I call you back, but can I call you back? I'll look up your phone number and call you back. Right? Right? Another great technique that I tell people to use. All right. Last quiz right here.
So far, we haven't used it just yet, but so far so good.
Okay, well, we actually did several upgrades, not just on that application, but on the system. So has your workstation been running okay?
Yeah, everything's good so far.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
You got a thumbs
okay,
up
well,
over
I
here.
just wanted to kind of double check and check out and make sure
Ooh,
that
we got
everybody's
some
got
thumbs
the
down.
right version of software. So
Okay.
do you have a couple minutes you could help me out?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you know, I
Yeah.
know you guys are running around busy like we are, but
Yeah.
Right,
cool.
right.
So all right. So first I
Still
want to verify your service pack number. So are you on Windows 7 or Windows XP?
All right, we got some. Have I converted you guys to thumbs up now? No, you're still down? You're still down on it? Okay, I think you're listening to the wrong person. You're listening to me on the phone instead of the target. Because yes, finally, I got this
Johnny,
guy.
is your login ID BTKASSP?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
I have more to play,
what
Trevor.
I thought.
I have more to play. Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting a eye on the login. You haven't changed your password recently, have you?
They changed it today actually because I'm a floater, so.
That's probably what
Listen
it
to
is.
me.
Okay, I tell you what, can we change it again real quick just to a temporary password?
Sure.
Okay. You know how, well, obviously you did it today, right?
Yeah, well, this was already logged in when it came, so I haven't logged out yet just because I was too busy
doing emails, but I was supposed to log out to log back in to use the intranet.
Right. Yeah, I understand. It's kind of a pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a
let's
pain,
just go ahead and we'll
security.
just change it, and that'll just be safer.
Okay.
So just do a Control-Alt-Delete, and then, go change password.
All right, so I'll walk you through the change password process.
Okay.
So,
And just put in the password they gave you, and then type in this password. It's going to be real.
okay, I got walking through the change password. What was really cool, though, about that call was he basically told me that he violated their security policy, right? I'm from the help desk. So I was, what's going through my mind is, yeah, man, I won't rat you out. But then I thought, well, if I say that, then he's going to, he might get a little suspicious. So I was like, yeah, no big deal. I know it's kind of a hassle, right? So yeah, I'm cool. I'm down with that, right? So we were buddies. We were, security policy violating buddies. Something's getting worse. Okay. Is that better? Yeah. You can probably just kill my mic. This is kind of a small enough room, but if you need to, but all right, I'll try to talk up. All right, so y'all did pretty good on the quiz time. Give yourselves a hand as I almost stumble and fall on the couch there. All right. Thanks, honey. All right, so a few bloopers I came across, just kind of some funny stuff at the end of calls. You just never know what you're going to get sometimes, as Forrest Gump says.
What does it say now?
Okay.
We've been on this call for like 30 minutes.
This password supply does not meet the minimum complexity requirements. Please select another password that meets all the following criteria. Is at least 7 characters, has not been used in the previous 12 passwords.
She's reading this to me.
Changed within the last 30 days. Oh, well, maybe it was less than 30 days that I changed it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Must not have been changed within the last day. She had just changed her password.
Okay. So, and you said your current password was C. What?
My current one?
Yes.
CASSIE 22.
Yeah, that is so hard to do. And you said your current password was. It's like when someone says, "I didn't catch your name." I don't remember what movie that was. I didn't drop it.
Portal,
yeah.
And I'll gather the rest of the information.
Right. So yeah, I had to lead her a little bit, but she fell, of course. All right. And then one last one, of course.
Oh, you said that you just changed your password on Friday, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It's just password. It's capital IT and then ASSWORD.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So it's capital P.
Oh, you're in a hurry. You want to take it?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let me try that.
Yeah, Adrian, you can cut that part out. Yeah. I was kind of young. I thought this was going to take a while. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I guess that's enough. Thank y'all for your time. I appreciate it.